I took 50 qualified sales calls in the past 30 days, and here's exactly what happened. And what I'm going to tell you is 110% going to shock you, because it's not only advice and game that you haven't heard before, but it's the raw truth of what it's really like from somebody who's actually doing this. So my name is Patrick Thomason. I'm the CEO and founder of networkfounders.com. We're a client acquisition business. We help B2C businesses book in 30 to 50 qualified appointments every single month. We do this using systems, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to bore you. So let's hop into the video really quickly here. So looking at around about, 5 figures, a little bit in the mid 5 figures range for this month in profit, let alone after those, 50 sales calls. But how did I do this? And what are the takeaways that I have for you? Like, what are some actionable steps I can give you? So I'm not just talking about, what I'm doing. How can you do this in your business? How can you take 50 sales calls in 30 days? Well, here are some takeaways and here are some actionable tips on how to do exactly just that. So I have some few things written down here. The first thing that written down, when you want to book in these 50 qualified appointments to your calendar every single month, every single 30 days, you have to be implementing the right content. What does this mean? So essentially, when you have a setter, when you even appointment set yourself before you even hire out a setter, you want to really get in the DMs yourself. You really want to get in the messages yourself. You really want to outreach to prospects on LinkedIn, on Instagram, wherever you're outreaching to prospects, you want to get in there yourself first. And the reason why you want to do this is because obviously if you can't appointment set prospects on LinkedIn or on Instagram and in the DMs, how do you expect to train somebody and then, hire somebody, train them, and then expect them to do a better job than you when you yourself don't even know how to do it? And so that's why I stress how important it is to do the thing yourself first. The solid base of content, you have to have at least, I would say, 5 to 10 videos on every single platform, showing your audience that you have authority in whichever space you're in. So for me, I'm in the client acquisition space. So getting clients online using systems, it's a very big space. But how do I differentiate myself? Well, it's through personal branding, it's through the videos, it's through what I teach, it's through what I talk about. So I have a solid base of well more than 10 videos on YouTube, as well as on Instagram. But I have that because it builds authority, it builds trust, and it builds presence. So to even get to level 2, you have to go to level 1, which is having the content before you even book those appointments. You can't be a blank page. For instance, if you try to appointment set somebody on Instagram and they look at your profile and they see one photo of a dog and your profile picture is like really bad, how do you expect them to trust you? How do you expect them to have any sort of, see you as an authority figure in the space and you have nothing to talk about, no value to provide? So that's step number 1. Post those, the foundational YouTube videos, I would say 5 to 10, those reels, 5 to 10 reels in the space that you're in, explaining your service, or not really explaining your service, just giving out value, explaining why you know what you're talking about essentially. Second thing to do is just outreach like absolute crazy. And so I know this sounds super, super basic and super monotonous, but at the end of the day, the actions that are boring are going to hinder the biggest result continuously. And so during this time period throughout June, it's June 30th at the time of recording this, I took 50 sales calls, right? As I said before, all of the appointment setting was done by me. It was done by me. I have a sales call, or not a sales call, I have a call with a potential setter who's very high level in about 3 or 4 hours. And so that is going to give me a lot of clarity, and it's going to build up a lot of time and take off a lot of time on my plate. Because I was appointment setting for 2 to 3 hours every single day. That's the raw truth. If you want to book in that amount of appointments, you have to be in the DMs, the LinkedIn messages, talking to people. You will not be taken seriously, and you will never make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month if you don't get in there yourself. You don't put in the hours. A lot of people make the mistake. There's so many people who want to hit that $10,000 a month, 5 figures a month, $10,000 a month is crazy, like it's life-changing, but people don't, especially beginners, do not understand the inputs that you have to be doing to make that amount of money, especially as a beginner. Cold outreach, you're running paid ads, whatever it is, you have to be doing so much more than you possibly think to even get those appointments on the calendar, to even get those people responding to you in the DMs, and to even get those sales calls booked in. So outreaching like crazy is very crucial. If you have the funds to hire an appointment setter, not really the funds, if you feel comfortable, like you're there, and you're already at the point where you've booked in, 50 to 100 appointments yourself, and you are qualified enough to hire somebody and train somebody, then go ahead, be my guest. But if you haven't even set 30 or 40 qualified appointments on your very own sales calendar yourself, how do you expect to hire somebody out, fully train them, and show them exactly what to do when you yourself haven't even done it? So get back in the trenches yourself and do the necessary work that you know you have to do. Just simply stop being lazy. Third thing I have to talk about is failing and getting nervous on sales calls. There really is no failing on sales calls. Yes, you're going to be nervous. Yes, things will come up. Yes, you will have to handle objections very awkwardly in the very beginning because you don't really know your ICP very well. And it might not go as planned. But learning and getting nervous on sales calls is completely normal. And I want you to sit down whenever you actually do hop on these sales calls. This is what I tell my clients. I say, look, before you even, obviously turn on the waiting room on Zoom, but before you even let them in the waiting room, take a few deep breaths and tell yourself that it's okay. Whatever happens, guess what? You're still going to learn. If you don't close a deal, well, then you learned how to handle a specific objection in your niche that you didn't know 40 minutes ago. If you didn't close a deal, well, that's still more time and experience talking to your customer or your client avatar on Zoom. If you still didn't close a deal, you still get more experience and time speaking to them. So regardless, it's a win. And when you really shift your attitude and you detach from the money and you're not like, I need the Stripe payment, I need to make this $5,000, things flow a lot easier. So detaching from it is a huge thing, and understanding that, you yourself getting nervous is completely normal. I think for the first 15 calls this month, I got a little bit nervous. After, I would say, the 15th or 20th call, just kind of run them through the script. Now that I don't even use a script anymore, I just kind of run through bullet points. In my head, I kind of just walk them through a framework. You can only get there if you take that many sales calls yourself. If as a first-time person who's taken their first 15 sales calls, you probably can't have an entire framework memorized and know exactly what to say when and where, because you just don't have that much experience and time under your belt. That moves me into point number 4. It's my last point: close deals and fulfilling clients. So the takeaway from this is that when you do close the deal, what you have to understand is that you still have a client to fulfill. And so we sometimes get ahead of ourselves and we try to book in all these appointments and, we try to close all these deals, but then we don't realize that you really have to fill your clients in the best possible way. And we really should shift our perspective. I think a lot of online business guys only care about the money, only care about the Stripe payment. But in reality, it's like, what are you building? Is your business becoming an empire? Or is it just becoming something where people just come in and just leave and you leave no legacy? People don't really know you. And you're just kind of like a flash in the pan. So my goal in July is to book 100 appointments. And like I said, you can do this too. If you simply do what I did in the past 30 days, outreach like absolute crazy, consistently upload on YouTube, on Instagram, post on LinkedIn. I grew to 500 plus connections on LinkedIn in 20 days. I just got on LinkedIn this month in June of 2024. So if you do the necessary steps of posting those videos, outreaching like crazy, understand that it's okay to get nervous, and just taking things as they float through your business and understanding that everything is going to be a lesson, you will be able to book in 50 qualified sales calls this month or next month in July. My goal is to book in 100. I'm plugging in a setter today. We're hopefully going to push to that $35,000 a month mark. That's where I want to be in cash collected and profit. And my take home is $30K every single month, $30,000. I'll be good. That's a lifestyle business at that point. And then we'll go from there. But that's exactly what I did to book in 50 qualified sales calls in June. The goal for July is 100. You can do it too. If you're still confused, rewatch the video. This obviously took some time. Build up your brand, build up your legacy, have that solid base of content, outreach like absolute crazy. Do the work that you know you have to do. Do the work that is necessary, that you know you have to do in order to be great. And I promise you, you will book in those appointments and you'll be pleasantly surprised with where you'll be.